Welcome to Late Night Show with It's Your Boy AJ, the Quarantine Edition. I'm your host, Carlisle Choachuy, and for tonight's episode, we'll be joined by guests to talk about everyone's favorite this quarantine, K-drama. So help me welcome Jerrick Yu, Darren Carandang, Dalisay Reyes, and Amiel Escuadro.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Darren Carandang.
Hi, hello.
So Jerrick is ready on the line to tell us more about this sensation, K-drama, and its relation to art. Jerrick, take it away.
In the past century, Hollywood has become synonymous to movies or the film industry as a whole. Western or American movies became the global standard as the whole world watched in awe at how many American directors, actors, and actresses revolutionized new plots, different genres, as well as new innovations in the post-production processing. However, in the more recent years, movies from a different corner of the globe has taken the world by storm and has captured the hearts of millions of viewers. This new global phenomenon is no other than Korean drama. Korean drama, or K-drama as most people call it, started airing in Korean households back in the 1960s. In the 1980s, this also gave way to many significant improvements since the onset of colorized television made it more popular in the country. However, most of K-drama's significant milestones happened in the 2000s. The early 2000s led to the birth of a new genre called fusion, which featured historical series. These films became the perfect opportunity for non-Korean people to learn and appreciate the Korean culture while still enjoying their creative storylines. Which leads us to the present. Today, the accessibility of K-drama has led to its reach stretching all across the world and even in Western countries, like the United States. Its plots, cultural appeal, as well as the mouth-watering dishes and the fashion they feature are a breath of fresh air to people who got used to seeing movies that featured the Western culture and the more predictable storylines from Hollywood. With these in mind, it made us wonder if this big new craze is considered art, and if so, is it really art or low art, and why?
To tackle the question that Jerrick ended with, is K-drama art? Here are some other guests giving us their take and stance regarding the question.
Whenever we discuss whether a piece of work such as K-drama TV shows are considered as art, we often regard them as either high art or low art. High art being that there's more artistic or creative value inputted by the artists relayed to the audience of the work. This lies on four main factors, with the first being the accessibility of the work. Second would be the type of understanding required from its viewers. The third would be the nature or function of the work. And fourth would be the artist, which could be regarded as the directors, cinematographers, set design, scriptwriters, and the actors themselves. With that, our group assists that K-drama could be considered as low art, and we'll be discussing each factor that was previously mentioned. For the first one, Jerrick has already mentioned that K-dramas have actually reached all over the globe through platforms such as Netflix. This makes K-dramas more of a mass consumption, wherein its distinction from high art is actually reduced. Since it's actually targeting a diversified set of audiences, its plot becomes more shallow and relatable for everyone, which actually hinders the amount of creativity that the scriptwriters or the actors can input in the work. For the second part, aligning with it being mass consumption, previewing works of such as K-drama is often regarded as passive consumption, wherein the audience just takes in what's happening in the show. So what I'm saying is that the journey of the audience in understanding the TV show often starts and ends with watching the show. Although people tend to talk about the show after watching, these talks are mostly about their experiences or emotions about the TV show, or like fanboying or fangirling about the actors, rather than dissecting each element of the art form and looking for underlying meanings. Although there are shows that have a lot of Easter eggs and underlying plot themes, most of the K-drama are merely viewed at the surface level. Although intermittently showing the TV show once a week could lead to the audience pondering on what will happen next in the series. Not much in-depth analysis is actually needed for the viewers to understand, appreciate, or enjoy the work. Unlike other forms wherein you have to research on the artist, the history of the artist, the history linked to the artwork, K-drama already gives you all the stuff you need to understand it by just watching their shows.
First of all, K-drama is considered low art due to the nature and function of the work. More often than not, television is considered low art because of this. Art is divided into three phases: the beginning, the middle, and the end. How Korean drama works is that if ratings for the shows are generally high, they can extend the length of these shows to cater the massive popularity from the audience. This means that there is no clear end to these shows. One example would be the show I Can Hear Your Voice. Originally, it was slated to have only 16 episodes, but it was extended for 2 more episodes, making it at 18 episodes in total. The storyline was so compelling that the viewers couldn't stop watching it. When the show neared its conclusion, it had garnered ratings that exceeded 20%, which is considered very high for a Korean drama on a public network. With regards to the artist aspect of K-drama, it is considered as low art since there is no dominant author or artist to Korean dramas. Artists such as the actors, writers, directors, video staff have limited creativity or workspace since they can't control every aspect of the production of these dramas. In addition, the audience can fanboy or fangirl about the work of the directors, cinematographers, and possibly even the actors themselves. There really is no clear artist for Korean dramas.
So, some final thoughts to the discussion from Dalisay?
If you're an avid fan of K-dramas, I'm sure you're familiar with some brands that just randomly appear or sometimes even forced to appear in the drama scenes. This is called product placement, otherwise known as PPL. Some examples of PPL are Subway, Samsung smartphones, red ginseng extracts, Hyundai cars, and BBQ olive chicken. Excessive use of advertisements ruins and distracts the plot, the scenes, and the overall feel of the drama. Sometimes the PPL has become too severe that people just stop watching the drama completely. Capitalism is brought to the viewers by these PPLs plays a huge role in distorting or drowning whatever art is culminated in the process of filmmaking, acting, and script writing. Moreover, K-dramas perpetuate lookism. Questions are raised over such preference of appearance over talent. Good-looking and mainstream actors, despite having mediocre acting skills, are chosen. Less attractive actors are put on the sidelines and even disregarded. An instance of this would be idols, aka people who are trained to sing and dance in Korea, heading towards the film and drama industry without taking proper acting lessons. Cha Eun-woo from the K-pop boy group Astro and Im Yuna from the popular K-pop girl group Girls' Generation are 2 examples of good-looking idols known for being active in the film industry for a couple of years already. And while they're decent idol-turned actors or actresses, quite a lot of Koreans still find this rather distasteful and a disrespect to people who have mastered their craft in acting and yet are still no names in the industry. In hindsight, Korean dramas aren't all plain substandard. Some historical K-dramas are exceptionally praised for their poetic dialogues and advocating positive values. K-dramas in general promote and at the same time preserve Korean culture, which is good. But as a creative form with its own faults and misgivings, one should remain critical and not easily fall under the influence of it, or at least the bad side of it. Otherwise, it can warp someone's ideals, which in turn can become toxic and unhealthy. K-dramas are considered low art for reasons that they are mostly catered for the consumption of the public and mass media. and for reasons stated previously.
So that concludes this week's episode of the Late Night Show with It's Your Boy AJ, the Quarantine Edition. So guys, thank you for taking time to join this podcast.
Thanks for having us. Goodbye.
Thanks for having us here.
Thanks for having me here. Thank you. Bye.
I'm Carlisle Choachuy, and that's all for this episode. If you want more content like this, tune in to next week's episode. Thank you, and have a good day.